What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ, Bucky, and a very happy, smiling, couldn't wait to get on the show, Rhett Lewis. Rhett, you wearing a little IU gear today?
I mean, a little
Where
bit.
are your gloves?
A lot of.
It's not cold. It's not cold anymore. Not cold anymore.
Well, there should be a special delivery arriving at your house
I'll wear
at some
them.
point here. I know
I'll switch. I'll switch in a
wear
heartbeat.
the whole episode next week if they come in time.
By the way, I'm just going to tease something because we're going to let Rhett celebrate Indiana, and we'll talk about that game and how Coach Signetti's got them rocking. Buck, I was like, man, I got up this morning, had my breakfast, and I just prayed, Lord, give me something from App State that I have to fight fire with fire. And I went through and we'll get to the game, but I went through the Bijan Robinson explosive runs. I'm like, gosh, dang, this center from the Falcons is killing people. And I'm like, looked it up. Like, App State guy 2020. So I'm going to have to fight fire with fire once we get to that portion of the program. But Rhett, did you get a chance, because you're doing a game, did you get a chance to even watch that one?
Yeah, I was coming back from the what game was I at? Michigan State UCLA game, and we got to start talking about Nico again after these last couple of weeks. But anyway, we'll get there. It was just, so I listened to the first hour in the car on the way to Detroit to fly out, and then our flight got delayed by 2 hours. So I actually just sat in the airport, was able to watch the whole rest of the game, which was excellent. So it was super cool, and it's people have asked me, all the time since that night, like, how does it feel? I was like, I don't know. How do you describe something you've never felt before? I don't know.
In the country.
Yeah, I know, man. But I think it was Bucky and I were talking a little bit before you popped on, Deej. It was a coaching clinic from Kurt Signetti and his coordinators. And Dan Lanning said as much. I thought, by the way, it was teach tape, the way that Dan Lanning handled that post-game press conference afterwards. I mean, he laid it out. He was like, they had more hats at the point of attack on defense. Quarterback couldn't deal with the pressure. Offensively, they ran the ball down our throats when they had to. I mean, like, he was kind of going down the whole thing. And for that guy who I consider, the best coach in college football, among the best coaches in college football, let's put it that way, for him to come out and say that, I think to me spoke volumes about what SIG has done at IU, and the coordinator consistency that they have, and their player evaluation model is incredible because they get the most out of everybody that's out there.
DJ, before we came on, Red and I were talking about like Signetti and 15 to 17 transfers came in, and how Signetti is all about production over projection. And I was telling him in some scouting circles, that is the way that you go about it. Like, you want to see the production over time, multiple years, and those guys are the ones that tend to play well, no matter what level they're at. Like, they were super productive in high school, college. They're going to be productive in the pros. And it's so interesting where we end this, I would say, this crossroads where NFL football meets college football at the collegiate level, where you're having these scouting philosophies and those things. And it's just interesting that Signetti has been able to scale up. He's followed that philosophy. The philosophy's been successful for him at every stop along the way. And I just wonder how many others operate with a similar mindset when it comes to production over projection.
I want to ask you guys, because I got a chance to see a little bit of this game. I'm actually getting my drive later this week, so I'm actually starting the draft stuff a little bit early this year, so I'm excited about that. But I was going through a bunch of the NFL games, and the last one that I went through was the Seattle game, your game, Buck, Seattle-Jacksonville. So I was rewatching that this morning, watching their defense. And I wrote a little note down, and I feel like I've seen this with a lot of the good defenses, and I'm curious if you would say this is how Indiana has been playing or doing what they're doing. Because I just wrote down, man, these good defenses, I wrote the littles tackle and the bigs run. Like, when you see the big guys sprinting down the field making tackles, when you see them getting out to the perimeter on all these screens and things and just playing with a motor and effort and just running, you see the big guys running, and then you see the corners sticking their face in the fan and being physical and making tackles. I'm like, when you got your little guys playing big and your big guys can play little, that's a good combination to have, man. I'm just curious on Indiana, what they're doing defensively. What is it?
So one, it's havoc. Right. And that's the biggest thing. So, like, for them, the angles that they create with the freedom that their defensive linemen have to get up the field, and then the awareness and IQ of the second level players to make them right, is the biggest thing that they have going right now. They are also, I would say, I haven't done the metrics on this, but I would go back and look. They are using 3 linebackers, probably more than almost anybody in the country.
A lost art. Yeah.
It is a lost art. Everyone's 4-2-5. Now, like, so some guys are going to do, run
3-3. Yeah,
sure. But they'll go 4 down with the 3 backers, and it's their best personnel grouping. It's their best personnel, period. Right. So find your ways to get your best players on the field. And Bryant Haynes is, I'm telling you, he's the best defensive coordinator in the country right now.
Is it a real linebacker though? Like, because we're like the 3-3-5 usually.
It is
that's
a real backer.
That's down in there. Yeah,
real backer, like 6'2", 235 pound, 240 pound dudes that are in there. And look, one of them's an all Big Ten player. Like he's, middle backer is really, really good, really, really instinctive, and has been in that system for 5 years. So that certainly helps. The other 2 guys are young dudes that have just continued. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, like the trend line is way up there. So I honestly, I think that's a big piece of it.
So good. Red, it's funny. You talked about them having like 3 linebackers on the field, but so many people talk about get your best 11 on the field and then let the personnel dictate what you do from a schematic standpoint. And it sounds like at Indiana, that's exactly what's happening. And then at a time where no one operates like that, the last team that I can remember operating like that extensively was like Michigan State when Narduzzi was there. And they were playing the old base 4-3, cover 4,
255-pound linebackers.
I mean, that's the last team that I can think of operating like that at a full-time tilt. And give them credit, man. Zig when everyone else is zagging.
Yeah, that was going back to the old USC, like Pete Carroll days.
Yeah, Maluga and
you had Cushing and Matthews. I had all 3 of those big linebackers out there.
The other thing, though, that's important to note here, again, going back to the evaluation is, I mean, somebody had it out on social media, the talent, right? Oregon's like top 5 in the country in talent by ratings and all of those metrics. Indiana was like 75th.
Yeah.
It's just like, what is your evaluation of the player? Like, can this dude win for it? Now, look, could Indiana have gotten those players that Oregon get? Probably not. Right. So, I mean, it's not like they were trying, they couldn't, they decided to go with the 3-star instead, but they make the most of who they have, I think, better than anybody in the country at this point.
I was talking to someone who was working at a Blue Blood. This is maybe about a month ago. And he was telling me a story about the challenges of recruit. Like everybody thinks about the advantages of recruiting in a Blue Blood. He was telling me the challenges of recruiting in a Blue Blood because he said, I'll give you an example. He said, we had a 5-star kid committed. We loved, was a great player. And then at the last second, the 5-star goes somewhere else. So our fan base is freaking out. Well, we think the next best player is player B, who's a 3-star kid. But there's another 5-star kid that likes us that's going to get the fans off our tail and is going to be like, oh, you're doing a great job, all this kind of stuff. So we end up taking a 5-star that we didn't even have evaluated higher than the 3-star. And that guy's he's no longer there.
Yeah.
That whole regime at that Blue Blood is gone. But he was saying, like, that's one of the things I don't think people think about of you're trying to win. It's like trying to win the press conference. You say, we want to hire the coach who's going to win the press conference. No, just hire the best coach. Like, don't forget about the press conference.
Did Sirianni win the press conference?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But there's a lot of pressure when it comes to that, right? Because so many people are really dialed into the recruiting stuff and everyone wants to be able to win on signing day. You want to see that you have a top 25 class, top 15, and people want to say that you stop. You're stacking big class after
it's
big
still
class.
The norm though, Buck. Like we're talking, Indiana's the exception. The norm is the teams that win the national championship every year are usually one of the top 5 most talented teams.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
It defies everything.
I don't know about might give you the old "Don't cry for me, Argentina" right there on the Blue Blood. The challenges of recruiting in a Blue Blood, but yeah.
Well, when the guy's no longer there, it's going to view it as a challenge for sure.
Yeah.
But no, it's interesting, and they found because we look at baseball, and that's why you can have a team, the behemoths with the huge payroll, the Dodgers, that can probably win the World Series, but you have the Brewers who have no money. Because you're trying to find
money. They have money. They don't spend it.
4X
money. Spend the money. They don't spend the money.
Buck. Don't get me on a baseball. The Dodgers TV deal brings in over $300 million a year. The Padres don't even have a TV deal. I bet you the Brewers aren't making $50 million off of that. So no, but what I'm saying is they've found, like Indiana, who doesn't have the ability to go grab all these premier players paying top dollar in terms of the recruits side of things. They found an inefficiency in the market. These players are undervalued. They're really, really good football players, but they're undervalued. So we can win with that. So it's just figuring out a way to make it work. Who do they have this week, by the way? What does Indiana have left on the schedule?
So we got consecutive home games against Michigan State, who's down bad right now, and UCLA, who is trending up. So that'll be an interesting game. And then the last real test is at Penn State. And look, say what you want about where they're at. They're still really talented. And I know Aller's out, but the kid Grunkmeyer is actually he's an athlete and he can run. And I think they'll get a boost initially, as they always do. If that offensive line though starts playing to their capabilities, it'll be different. It'll still be a really tough test.
All those guys are going to transfer and opt out. They got those guys won't be there. You be playing a JV team. You're playing a JV team. They be pulling people out the stands. Maybe a lifelong dream. It'd be like a fantasy.
Did Dennis Sutton want that on his draft resume? Does Zane Durant want that on his draft resume? I don't know.
Dude, all I know is if you'd have told little 10-year-old me after Keith Smart hit that jumper that IU's football team might win a national championship before their basketball team win another one, I don't know that I would have
That's a great point.
You.
Holy cow. 87 is a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute. All right. Congrats, Rhett. Good luck to your Hoosiers the rest of the way. Let's get to the Monday Niners doubleheader last night. Buck, let's start with the quarterback matchup everybody was going to be talking about. Our buddy Ryan Russillo had a great tweet after the game, the ultimate troll tweet. He's like, well, now that's been decided, between Shane Daniels and Caleb Williams. Yeah. But hey, they got the turnover they needed late. The Bears, after settling for a lot of field goals, Jake Moody came through at the end. They got down the field. DeAndre Swift had a heck of a game. But the Bears go on the road. They got a big win, man. They're 3-2 right now.
Yeah, big win. Look, man, I think anytime you have an opportunity to see young guys square up, particularly the quarterbacks, they give us opportunity to revisit those reports, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and all those things that are in those. But I thought it was really solid in terms of Caleb Williams being the number one, seeing him play with control, seeing him play in front of the home fans, meaning where he grew up in the DMV, seeing him stand out and having to make plays and lead drives and do those things. It was just a solid overall effort. And I think from the first time that we saw him in Ben Johnson's offense, going all the way back to the preseason to where he is now, I think he has made some strides. And he's on track to be a 4,000-yard passer. And the Bears aren't used to having 4,000-yard passers. So I would say things are trending up for the Bears. And for the Commanders, I think Jaden Daniels continues to be what he's always been. I think he can dial it up a few different ways. If you're both franchises, you're probably very, very pleased with your QB1 that you have entrenched for a long time.
Yeah, so in terms of the quarterbacks, I just thought this was interesting. I was actually looking this up when I was kind of digging in on our coordinator of the week, which we'll get to here in just a little bit. But I was looking at who's holding on to the ball the longest right now in the league. Caleb's still way up there. He's still at over almost 3.2 seconds now.
Do you like that stat? I hate that stat.
I don't know that I love it. But
here's my question: if you're on time, if you have 25 throws and you're on time for 24 of them, and the 25th it's 3rd and 21, and they rush 3 guys, and you scramble around for 10 seconds, it's like I hate that. Because I feel like this stat's been used a lot.
It has been used a lot, but I would say one way in which it does illustrate some issues is, the only guy who's held it longer is Justin Fields. And I think that is probably a more accurate description of like what's going on there than it is necessarily with Caleb, because you could see it. Like Fields is just like, he's hanging on to it. Like that's one where you could predict, man, who's going to be up there at the top? Fields is going to be up there at the top. Anyway, besides the point. I was kind of curious because, I keep dominating in the rookie draft with Tyler Warren. And so I was like, why can't I get my guys, just another option? Why can't I get Colston Loveland going here? I don't know that it's necessarily a negative at this point, but I did think it was interesting. I went back and watched all his reps in the pass game here. I mean, there's maybe like 2 or 3 where he is even in the field of vision from Caleb.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if that is a trust factor, if that is a game plan factor, if that is a, just not there yet sort of situation. But there are times where he is open and is not a part of either the progression, the field, like it just wasn't the read. There's a bunch of different pieces to this thing. maybe he'll come on here at some point, but I also think it has to do with, Roman Dunze is really dang good. DJ Moore's really dang good. And so, they've got options. It's not like they're really struggling and they're just choosing not to use him. But I did think that was kind of interesting from a rookie standpoint. We just haven't seen that, to whereas the Colts are scheming it up for Tyler Warren left and right. So I thought that was kind of intriguing.
Can I defend? I'm going to defend Caleb on that one thing just real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
He's taken 10 sacks this year.
Yeah.
Justin Fields took 9 on Sunday. So right. I would not put him in the same category.
No, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
What he's doing. Yeah.
I'm not calling Caleb out on that. I'm just saying, I just thought it was kind of interesting that he's having more success this year, and it's kind of similar to the numbers that it was a year
I just think we got to find, there's some of these numbers where I'm like, that's useful. That's a useful number. But to me, it's got to be married up properly with how, what's his on-time throw percentage, based off of the rush and the route, and having people, look at that and then be, okay, that's, you get an outlier here versus, in a certain situation that can skew the numbers, so to speak. But I do think he's doing a better job, and I think they've done a better job of baking it in. In other words, there are a lot of creative screens, and he's gotten better. He's gotten better at that. There's different types of screens. When you're thinking about kind of the up and down screen where you used to talk about, it's almost like you're just trying to get it out of the cookie jar. Yeah, a little fadeaway, get the cookie out of the cookie jar. And then there's also some of these quick inside screens where it's just real quick. You get the tight end, and it's just a nice, quick, firm ball, and it's on him so he can go. Caleb's gotten a lot better. That was not a great strength of his. He's gotten a lot better at that stuff. And Ben Johnson continues to roll those out. And they got some of their bigger pass plays on quick hitters like that, where they got some run after catch. He's still misfiring on a couple intermediate throws where I almost feel like he's overthrowing. He's just trying to gas it up, just take a little off. And then it was terrible. I thought it was a terrible offensive PI call that cost him a touchdown, but he's playing pretty efficiently. That game was about protecting the football, Buck. And, Jaden Daniels, I thought, was probably a little more pinpoint with how he threw the football, but you had the turnovers, and that was the whole game.
Yeah, look, it comes down to it's a big deciding factor in ball. You turn it over, you lose games. And looking at both of the quarterbacks, you're right in terms of being dialed in. Jaden Daniels is so dialed in terms of where the ball comes out, the placement, the way he consistently hits the strike zone. So I'm really impressed with those guys. And it's unfortunate that Drake May didn't play on Monday night so we could have the big discussion that everyone wants to have, because people are talking about him and his greatness, his excellence.
First place, Drake May, by the way.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. At a time where we talk about the league having a quarterback problem, it doesn't seem like that class had a lot of problems when it comes to finding franchise quarterback, because you go those three, Bo Nix. I mean, 4 to 5 is showing up.
But Penix, I thought looked pretty good last time. We'll get to that.
And, that class looks like that class was supposed to look, given where they were drafted.
Yeah. No, it was good to see both those guys. They're going to be fine. I think you're seeing them, everything that they can do and how they can expand your offense. So I'm excited for both those teams going forward. Haven't seen Washington in person the week before. I'm not worried about them long-term at all. Let's get to that other game, Rhett. You mentioned it. Give me Bajan. Bajan. I gotta say that a million times before I get it right. Do you remember when we were all together doing Path, and it was a recap? It was a Path to the draft after the draft.
Yeah.
And then you said the question to me was who will have a better career? You said Gibbs, and before you could say Bajan, it might have been Bijan at that time. I immediately said, "Oh, Bijan." That's not even. I love Gibbs. Gibbs is a good player. Yeah. He's a good player, but to me, and then after the first year, I was like, "Oh man, somebody ever looks up that clip with the way Gibbs was rolling?" I was like, that could be a bad look for your guy right there." And then now you look up, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm a little comfortable. What Gibbs has been great, but what Robinson can do all the way across the board, he's the best. He's the best running back in football right now."
I think last night was the showcase of everything that Bijan Robinson offers. You talk about the 81-yard run on the inside zone, and it like an outside zone, but it's the patience that he displays kind of weaving through. And the cut that he made, DJ, is one of those that you can't even teach how to do that patient slip slide and get out and then get down the paint. And to me, watching the Falcons kind of get into this pistol offense where they have a downhill running game and they're using him and Tyler Algier and Bijan goes for like 170, 180 yards, and he catches the ball out the backfield, and he does everything that a new school RB1 is supposed to do. He is as advertised. And there was a lot of conversation and consternation about taking a running back high. But if you're going to take one, they need to have the superpowers that Robinson has, because this dude is literally a 2-3 phase playmaker that can do it in so many different ways.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this, because don't you feel like, and this is what, so they drafted Bijan. That was the last year with Arthur Smith.
23.
Right? Yeah. Okay. I felt like, maybe it did take a minute, but it felt like you would see those explosive plays where he's making those cuts, and you're like, and then he ends the game with 65 yards or 70 yards.
Yeah, because Tyler Algier was getting freaking 12 carries with him out there.
And so we're like, what? Why was that so hard to figure out? And even last year at times, I felt like there were games where he would just kind of disappear. But man, I don't think there's any denying it now. I mean, like you're in trouble. I mean, he is priority number one, focal point number one, the whole thing. But what have you seen differently, Deej? I know you were watching your App State center dominate a little
Ryan
bit.
Nuzell was freaking getting after it, man.
Let's go.
Well, to me, it was part about him, because when you have center with range like that, and you want to run some outside zone, that to me is a huge part of it. You better have a center that can get on the move and make those blocks out in space. He's really, really done a nice job. So they've and I think Ledford is the O-line coach there.
Ballman's gone, right? They lost.
Yeah,
Ballman.
he's gone. He's at the Bears. So, but this kid's been great, and he's been there for a while. I think he was in the 21 class, 2021, something like that, undrafted free agent. But which again, there's a long trend of late round undrafted free agent centers that have a lot of success in this league, because usually they're a little undersized, maybe short armed. But they're really, really smart, tough, and can move. So they've done a really nice job up front. I was going back to my Robinson report, and it's nice when you, like you said, it maybe it's taken a second for it all to come together. Yeah. But this is what he was: 3-down back, excellent size, vision, and burst, inside runs, aggressive to press the hole before lowering his pads and exploding through contact. Has a lateral quickness to make defenders miss in tight quarters. On outside runs, he has the speed to capture the corner. He's very loose and elusive out in space. Passing game, fluid route runner out of the backfield, boasting excellent hands. He can contort and adjust to poorly thrown balls. Does need to improve his recognition and technique in pass pro, though. He's late to set up and anchor. Will get challenged too often. Overall, Robinson has all the tools to quickly emerge as a top-tier running back in the NFL. So maybe took account for it all to come together. But, man, that is a full toolkit, for somebody to be at that position. I had him as the third-ranked player in that draft. To be a running back up there like that, you have to justify it, Buck, because we say it, like, to justify it, you better be dang good. You can't be, a good, solid player. If you're going to take a running back up there, he's got to be different. He got to be different, and this guy is different.
Yeah, he has to be different. I think he has to be built. Any running back has to be built in the mode of Christian McCaffrey and those guys. Meaning, I have to be able to envision you getting 1,000 rushing yards and maybe catching 100 passes out of the backfield. Bijan, I saw the stat, like, he's the first to do something over the first 5 games since Thurman Thomas. Having played with Thurman Thomas, I remember the engine that he was for that Buffalo Bills offense as a runner and a receiver. That is a prerequisite now, that if you're going to be a top 10 running back, you have to be able to bring those things to the table. And you're right, DJ. I don't know why it took Atlanta so long to figure out how to unlock him in this offense. But the offense that I saw last night was physical, but also fun. And it also allowed them to play to the strengths of Michael Penix.
I was kind of watching that and like, man, felt like Josh was holding on to the ball for a while. And, I look at this game, and then so I went back and looked at the pressure. Falcons had 28 pressures in this game. Mm-hmm. Jalen Walker led the team with 5. James Pierce had, got after it a little bit. I think the one thing that I see with Walker is, and I saw in those pressures, is like they were not immediate, right? He was fighting his way through a blocker or two. Tight end, was kind of on that side. He's in that wide 9 alignment almost all the time. And he's still a little bit like bull in a china shop with the way he kind of tries to get after the quarterback, where you can kind of see Pierce has got a little bit more nuance to the way that he rushes, a little bit more fluidity. But it's kind of fun watching them both come off opposite edges in some of those pass rushing situations. His third pressure actually results in one of the interceptions from Josh Allen. And so watching all that kind of made me wonder, like, was this one of those games where you felt like the Bills were at a disadvantage not having that alpha number one.
So that's exactly where I was going. I'm pulling some numbers on here because hold on one second.
It just felt like Josh was hanging on to it and like just, and I think that's why he ended up with such a high pressure number.
Coming into the year, we've been saying for a few years now, to come out of the AFC, you need one of these cyborg quarterbacks because of the gauntlet you're going to have to run.
Yep.
And then I look at that game and I'm like, man, I know Buffalo's still averaging 27.8 points, but there's just not a lot of firepower out there. And Kincaid not playing, I think, hurt him big time on that. But that didn't look like a high-powered, high-flying offense. And I'm like, so who are the teams we talked about for the last several years? Baltimore, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Kansas City. Houston was going to emerge and get up into that group. And you look up now and I'm like, man, I don't know that this might be one of those years where the complete team could come out of the AFC. It doesn't necessarily have to be the team that can go in and score, that needs to score 40 points to get through some of these guys in the playoffs. It's a different looking AFC to the point where the NFC, I'm like, gosh, we talked about the NFC was the physical conference and the AFC has the quarterbacks and all the high flying stuff. And I'm like, man, with the offenses in the NFC, you might have to have more high powered offense to get through the NFC playoffs than you would through the AFC playoffs.
Yeah, it's such a different thing. But Red, I agree with you. And I think, DJ, you made great points about the Baltimore Ravens and some of these other teams that, look, they invest in the quarterback, and the quarterback is everything. And he is supposed to be kind of the magic elixir to make the offense go. But you're now seeing that you need to have personnel on the perimeter. You need to have difference makers. And the best way for me to say it, I believe in the passing game, you got to have one person that can command a double team so that the rest of the people can eat. And when I look at Buffalo, there's no one that you would look at the scouting report and say, hey, guys, we need to make sure we cloud, we bracket, we double, we do all these things. So then there's a void for other people. And maybe until they get that person, they're always going to be kind of stagnant when it comes to it. Same thing you can say for Kansas City. Like, everything is so hard for all these teams because they can't manufacture the big plays. And sometimes you just need a guy that, my guy's better than your guy, so I'm going to throw it to him and he's going to make a big play. And I look like the schematic genius.
I also couldn't help but think, though, Rhett, that Josh has kind of gotten to the point in his career now where winning another division it's not going to move the needle. Like, they've got to get to a Super Bowl. They've got to do that. And I feel like there is a little bit of, he carried the ball 6 times in this game. But in years past, when it's not going great and you're missing some pieces, this would be a 15, 15 carry Superman game for Josh Allen. I'm not going to say he's pacing himself because I think he's always playing as hard as he can, but it's got to be somewhere in the back of the mind, man. Like, hey, if this game is a playoff game, Josh Allen, I guarantee he's running the ball more than 6 times in that type of game.
I would agree with you. I would also, kind of look at some of the personnel construction there with Buffalo and say, like, I don't know that they necessarily were like, oh, we're good without an alpha dude. I would imagine that that's why they drafted Keon Coleman, to become that guy eventually. And it just hasn't really happened yet. I think that there's an understanding there of what they need to win. Now, I think they've done a really good job at being one of the best teams in the AFC and in the league without that dominant player, because James Cook was going off and he was fine in this game. I mean, they just didn't give him the ball, a ton. He ended up, 17 carries. That's still a fair amount, in today's league. But on the other side, you got Bijan going for 170 on 19
Yeah, that's carries. A Buffalo defense problem we're not talking about.
Exactly. There's a big piece of that. It's a complimentary game. And then, you get the 2 turnovers and then a somewhat, limited possession game, in the second half. Like, that's an issue.
Yeah, because the Chiefs have dominated this conference for a decade without a I mean, Kelsey's a legit one, but they don't have they have not done it with a 1 on the outside. So the reason they've been able to do that is because the defense has been so dang good. Yeah, and that Buffalo did not play well defensively in that game. So, anyways, by the way, thumbs up or thumbs down on the double headers on Monday nights?
I don't like it.
It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
My kids loved it. They were going back and forth with it, and they had an earlier one, so they're actually able to see the completion of the first one, which was kind of.
I got to get a bigger TV because I'm doing like the YouTube TV, the 2-box.
Yeah,
it's hard to see. I don't need a bigger TV to be able to see all that stuff. All right. Before we get to this disaster of a rookie draft from last week, let's get to our coordinator of the week. We've been doing this every week, highlighting the guy in the coordinator position and role that's done a really nice job. So, and we like to call this our little hot or not segment because it's time for hot or not, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. And it's going to be Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak, who brings home the title this week. They had a nice win. Bucky was there over the Jags, 20-12. JSN, 8 catches for $162. Sam Darnold, 295, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Just a real efficient, clean game. Sam Darnold is first in EPA per play, first in yards per attempt, first in turnover-worthy play percentage on the season. JSN has most receiving yards through 6 games in Seahawks history. So they are playing excellent on the offensive side of the ball. To go back into the Kubiak file, 2010, he's a grad assistant at A&M, where his dad had played. In 2012, he's the offensive quality control coach there at A&M before joining the Vikings in 13 and 14. Again, a quality control gig. Goes to the University of Kansas, gets a position room as a receiver coach. Then to the Broncos as an offensive assistant, 16-18. The Vikings quarterback coach, 19-20, before vaulting to be the coordinator there in 21. Then back to the Broncos in 22. Quarterback coach, passing game coordinator, Niners passing game coordinator in 23 with McVay. Offensive coordinator last year with the Saints, before they, that whole thing changed over, and then gets the job as the OC with the Seattle Seahawks. Buck, I would just be curious, as someone who was around in playing during the Mike Shanahan era, and obviously his dad, Kerry Kubiak, comes right underneath him as a protege. How similar does this look to those offenses and what they were doing back then?
DJ, it's funny when you see the Shanahans, the descendants of the Shanahan tree, but particularly the sons, Kyle Shanahan and then Clint Kubiak. It's like watching the same play. You almost can call them, So like at the end of the game, Clint Kubiak dials up this bootleg throwback that is a staple. Red should know from watching the Houston Texans for years.
Oh, yeah.
They send everybody to one side on deep post routes and angles, and you'll see the tight end kind of sneak behind the line and then out the back door, and they hit them down this, like these things that you're like, that's a staple. That's a Kubiak staple. They're doing it. But what I can tell you that Clint Kubiak is doing is there's plays and there's players, and he understands how to make sure that, hey, I'm going to get the ball to my best players. And then there's a time where I'm going to give you a schematic winner. And he does that really well. JSN, there was a time, DJ, every completion that Sam Darnold had was his Jackson Smith and Jigma. It was like, I feel like I'm playing Madden. I'm just, my guy on the outside is betting you. I'm just going to throw the ball to him. And they're doing that. Then in the second half, they come out right away. Cooper Kupp, big plays. So, look, it's do simple better with some exotic twist, but they are maximize the talents of their players while every now and then mixing in a schematic play that really makes it hard for the defense to defend.
Yeah, I mean, it's been impressive. It's been impressive what he's done there. They haven't even got the run game really cranked up yet. So I think that's the last little missing piece, Rhett.
It also just helps when your quarterback is just dropping absolute dimes on big play throws. Like that layered throw and the JSN deep crosser, Buck, in the second quarter, the deep shot was on the money as JSN just ran by the way, the old Tyson Campbell for Greg Newsome trade, it's not there yet for either guy.
And we hit on that yesterday. Did not go well for either member of that trade.
As you know, man, he had the anticipation throw on the Cooper Kupp touchdown was beautiful. Just fantastic. The anticipation, the pace on it was perfect placement. And then maybe the dagger is that play action in the fourth quarter where he's got 2 dudes in his face almost immediately. Yeah. Sam kind of sidesteps and then launches the deep ball to AJ Barner that kind of seals the
little wind back route.
Yeah. It was
great. Buck, Rhett, remember when we launched trucks and trailers and we talked about that. So that was kind of a staple of the program. I've got a new phrase that I've been using, and I'm hoping it's going to catch on. Because, and first of all, Sam Darnold has transitioned from a trailer to a truck with the 100%. Way that he's played. He's become really, really good player. But this is my next phrase, because I got it when I was watching Sam earlier this year. And I said, you got to trust your eyes and trust your guys. Like you trust your eyes to see the picture of the defense. Yeah. So I trust I know where they're going to be. And then I trust my guys that they're seeing the same picture and they're going to be where they need to be. And when you can trust your eyes and your guys, the ball comes out on time. That's when you get anticipation, and that's when you get big plays, because there's no hesitation there. So I want to make this stick, but I need some other people to start adopting it and using it.
I will for sure make that stick, because that perfectly describes, this year's Heisman Trophy winner, Fernando Mendoza, and one of the favorites for the Blitnikoff and Elijah Surratt. Like those back shoulders in the Oregon
same
game,
page. Yeah,
that's trust your eyes, trust your guys, and and I'm with you on that. Love it.
So, Buck, you just got to weave that in. Get that woven into the broadcast for the Jags this week.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see if we can trust our eyes and our guys. See if we can make it work. Trevor needs to do that.
Yeah. See, he needs to improve on that in that area there.
Stalling, get to the rookie draft.
Hold on. That was this week's Hot or Not segment, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. Store more and do more with your data. Try them for free at wasabi.com. And if you want to do what we do, watching the All 22 every week, you can do it simply by signing up for NFL Plus Premium. Check out NFL Pro, where you can access over 95 unique player and team performance stats and that all-important All 22 film, available on desktop and mobile web. So I would encourage you to do that if you have interest in this stuff. All right, rookie draft time. Looking back to last week, it's just a despicable effort. I mean, Bucky, you got 2 points, which normally I would say you got to be better, but I got 1 point, which is just an embarrassment to my friends and my family. And Rhett got 9 points. Rhett had the top guys. He had Genty was the top scorer of the running backs.
Yeah.
T-Mac's top scorer among the receivers. Tyler Warren again was the top among the tight ends. So Rhett gets 9 points. Rhett is now past me. He's at 27. I'm at 26. Bucky's at 19. But Buck, you just saw based off that. I mean, one good week and you're in first place. So I mean, what a week for this guy. I mean, just go buy a lottery ticket. Gee,
can I just give you one final piece on that one? So I'm sitting in the airport watching the game. Right, it goes. We get the Isaiah Jones picks off the last Dante Moore pass, and it's clear Indiana's going to win. I'm telling you, not 10 seconds later, waiting on the delayed flight, I get the notification on the phone. Oh, your seat is now 1A.
Oh my gosh, you got promoted. What a week. What a week. That's incredible.
Week, all right.
Were the boys student of the month, by the way?
Yeah, I mean, Tommy had 2 goals in the soccer, first multi-goal game of his career. So
that's fantastic. All right. Well, thankfully, I get the first pick. I'm taking Warren because you're not having him anymore. I'm sick of that. I'll go, and I'm going to watch him because I got the Chargers playing against the Colts. But I'll go Tyler Warren.
Oh, did I forget
the second pick?
Dude, who's on bye week? I just want to make sure. Do we have any notifications?
Bills and Ravens, so not.
Okay,
fine.
cool.
Yeah,
cool. That's good. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Ashton Genty. I'm gonna take him. Make sure we get him off the board.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I got back-to-backs here, boys. So I'm gonna go because Ibuka's probably out, right? So I'm gonna go Tetaroa McMillan once again. By the way, who's kind of creeping up in the rookie receiving category is Matthew Golden.
I know. We talked about him yesterday. He has 3 games in a row where he's had a catch over 30 yards. So he's giving him a big play every single week.
Not a ton of receptions, volume there, but yeah, he's making them count. That's for sure. And then I'm going Cam Scattaboo, baby. There's just no way I'm not getting Cam Bam in the lineup. So those are my 2.
It's really difficult because there's no tight ends out there that are really.
I mean, Fannon's fine.
Yeah, but he's fine. I can't. Mason Taylor, he can't get a ball because the quarterback is.
He cost me last week.
I'm sitting here. I mean, I guess I'm gonna go with
maybe coaching change helps Gunnar Helm. Who knows?
Nah, I guess I'm gonna have to go with Fannin again since I have to have a tight end. Come on, Harold. Let's see if Harold.
You're going Fannin.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm going to say this is a Travion Henderson week.
Ooh, woo. He's starting to get a little run.
Inside
I'm going to take Henderson. I know that they play the Tennessee Titans is what I know. And then receiver wise, good. Who Io Manner's been targeted a ton. Just looking at these numbers, 35 targets, but only 17 catches. 17 catches on those 35 targets. Good night. I don't think I have any choice here. I'm gonna go with my Green Bay Packer, my top receiver in the draft last year, Matthew Golden.
There you go.
All right, Matthew Golden, number 0. I guess I'm gonna stick with the home team. I'm gonna try to go with Travis. At some point, Travis has to pop.
You're going back to that well until you freaking get some water from it. I know.
I got to get something. I got to get something. So Travis on our overseas, maybe you can do something for me.
Yeah, I mean, the yards per catch on this one, that's the thing that surprises me.
It's all 5-yard in routes. Like they haven't been able to unlock it.
And get him down the field a little bit?
When they try and get him down the field, something inevitably happens, like a penalty or something like that brings it back.
All right, guys. So since you stole Warren from me, who is very disappointed about having to change his,
we're gonna go with Gadsden. Let's go with Gadsden. Get him in the mix. Come on.
No, the fumble got me.
He had 7 catches last week.
Interesting. We're playing the Colts now. Shoot, you bullied me into it. Let's do it. Let's go have some fun with Gadsden.
His whole family was sitting right in front of us.
Nice.
Because he's the Florida. So you had like 30 people with the Gadsden jerseys, and like he catches the first ball and you see them all come up, and then he fumbled and they all sat right back down. And then he ended up following that up with a really productive day. And so we'll see. I think Quentin Johnson not playing too created some more opportunities and targets, but he might have beat out Tyler Conklin the way he showed up in that game. So there we go. There you have it. There's the rookie draft. Buck, we have got to step our game up, man. I'll tell you what, Buck, if you beat Rhett this week, I'm gonna pitch in some money and buy you a light for your office. That's what I'm gonna do.
No. I have a light, DJ, but what I'm trying not to do is I'm trying not to have like the spooky thing. So my office window is there. So I didn't want the shadow of that. If I put on the big light, then it makes my face dark on the front end. And so today is one of the rare days that it rains in LA. And so sitting in front of a window isn't playing to the strengths of my studio.
No, I just thought you were playing hide and seek. I didn't know what was going on there, man.
But you can say it with me. Let's go Dodgers.
Let's go Dodgers.
Gross.
I mean, if I had some thunder sticks, we can have some thunder sticks. Let's go Dodgers. I mean, you over there.
I love how they make it hard on themselves, man. Our guy Dave Roberts, go ahead and just throw Snell out there. He only take about 8 more pitches. He finished that game up. Nobody was touching him. He had 1 hitter through 8 innings, right at like 100 pitches, and then he goes to the bullpen, and they almost lost the game for him. His bullpen stinks. I hate them so much. All right, let's wrap it there.
All your values to be such a hater in this way. If you would try a little love, DJ. If you tried a little love, it may turn for you. If you were just trying to love them.
The fact that Bucky was trying to justify the financial resources of the Milwaukee Brewers against the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh, my God, you guys.
Disgusting. What a dumb sport. I mean, come on. No, let's get a salary cap in this thing. Make it fair. It's ridiculous. All right. Congrats again on the Hoosiers, Red, on a positive note. We'll be back. We'll see you guys later this week. Appreciate it.